Our brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, I have selected a topic called Pancakkhandha for today's discussion. I will explain 2 or 3 of them, not all the skandhas. I think you know Pancakkhandha. 5 aggregates. Pancakkhandha in Pali, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara and Vijnana. Those are the 5 aggregates. 5 skandha or khandha. Skandha in Sanskrit, Pali term is khandha. Aggregate or heap. The first one, we can divide it into 2, a person or being, Nama and Rupa. Rupa is form, and then Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, those 4, Vijnana we call Nama. Nama and Rupa. Rupa is form, Nama the other 4 out of 5. Then there's a stanza, this one from Magandhi Sutta in Sutta Nipata. Sanya vimuttassa nasanti gantha, panya vimuttassa nasanti moha. It explains 2 things, sanya and panya. Sanya vimuttassa nasanti gantha, panya vimuttassa nasanti moha. For 1, detach from perception, sanya, perception. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Number 2 is perception, sanya. The first one, Rupa, form. Then the number 2 is sanya, perception. Then sanya, Sankhara. Number 3, mental formation. And number 2 is a feeling, Vedana. Feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, last one, Vijnana. Here explain sanya, number 3. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya is number 3, Sanya and also Panya. It says for, the translation is for one detached from perception, there are no knots. The Pali term is gantha. Gantha means knots. And for one liberated by wisdom, there are no delusions, moha. 4 terms, sanya and gantha, panya and moha. If someone detached from gantha, detached from perception or sanya, he has no any knots. And if someone free from moha or delusion, through wisdom, then he liberated from wisdom, by wisdom. There are no delusion. If someone liberated by wisdom, he has no any delusion. Sanya vimuttassa nasanti gantha, panya vimuttassa nasanti moha. One who detached from perceptions, there are no knots for him. And he who liberated by wisdom, there are no delusion. That's the meaning of that stanza. To explain sanya, perception. When we practice insight meditation, we have to detach from sanya. And but those who have grasped perceptions and views wander in the world, creating frictions. The other part of the stanza. But those who have grasped perceptions and views wander in the world, creating frictions. That's the second part. Then the sanya is third, aggregates of Pancakkhandha or 5 aggregates. The other 4 is Rupa, Vedana, Sankara and Vijnana, form, feelings, mental formation and consciousness. The meaning of sanya is, sanya, the meaning noting, noting and ideas or views. When we see something through our eyes, we note that object. When we hear something through our ears, we note something. And when we smell something through our nose, then we note something. We have some ideas of it, that object. That's why it called sanya, not view or idea. And the purpose of training in vipassana or insight meditation is that release from perception. When we practice insight meditation or vipassana, we have to release from these perceptions, this sanya. That is the meaning of this stanza. Then again, this idea explains in Upasiva Sutta in Sutta Nipata. Upasiva Sutta in Sutta Nipata is Brahmin. He asks a question like this: Master, when a man is free from attachment to all pleasures and depend on nothingness, and everything else he lets go, he is freed in supreme freedom from perception. But will he permanently be there and not return again? A Brahmin. In Parayana Vagga, the teacher called Parayana, and his followers were 16. Once the 16 followers, including teacher, went to the Buddha and asked some questions one by one. The last chapter in Sutta Nipata called Parayana Vagga, the 16 Brahmins asked some questions, and the Buddha answered to all the Brahmins in Parayana Vagga Sutta Nipata. Then Buddha's answer is like this: when a man is free from all sense pleasures and depend on nothingness, he is free in the supreme freedom from perception. He will stay there and not return again. What is that meaning? When a man is free from all sense pleasures and depend on nothingness, he is free in the supreme freedom from perception, sanya again. He will stay there and not return again. That means he attain enlightenment or arahant. If someone free from this sanya or perceptions, he can realize the nibbana. And he already realized nibbana, not return to this world. That's the meaning of the Buddha's explanation in that sutta, Upasiva Sutta. And according to this explanation or illustration of the Buddha, with the gradual training, one is able to eliminate these knots or gantha. The Pali term is gantha, knots of perception, sanya gantha, knots of perceptions. And this sanya is the middle one. The sanya, according to the Dhamma, sanya or perception is middle one. There are two things two ends. One is subject, the other one object. Subject and object. When we think like I is subject, form or rupa is object. The middle one is sanya. I and form, two ends. If you destroy or if you don't have two ends, then middle is no anymore. And if you destroy middle, then you can't find two ends. That's the explanation of the Buddha. Two ends and middle. Middle is sanya, the other two ends, sense basis, subjects and the objects. And when the Buddha explained again vijnana, consciousness, also consciousness is middle one. And here called ajjatta ayatana and bahira ayatana. Ajjatta ayatana, there are two, yes, the two ends, ajjatta ayatana and bahira ayatana. Ayatana, basis. The Pali, the English meaning is basis. Internal basis and external basis, subjects and objects. And ajjatta ayatana or subjects or internal basis are chakku, sota, gana, jivha, kaya. Those 5 ayatanas. Chakku, eye, sota, ears, gana, nose, jivha, tongue, kaya, body. Those are chakku, sota, gana, jivha, kaya. Then the objects or bahira ayatana, external objects or external basis are rupa, saddha, gandha, rasa, pottabha. Rupa, form, and saddha, sounds, and gandha, smells, rasa, tastes, and pottabha, contact. Depend on I, form, arises what? Depend on I, arises form. And again, the explanation of the Dhamma, according to the Dhamma, vijnana also plays a main role for existence or samsara journey. The first one, sanya, the second one, vijnana, also plays a main role. Our existence of samsara or samsara journey. And in Madhupindika Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Madhupindika Sutta explain it like this. The vijnana explain, vijnana consciousness explains like this. Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku vijnanam. Then tinnang sangati passo, passapaccha vedana, like explaining paticca samuppada, dependent origination. That way, Madhupindika Sutta explain vijnana. Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku vijnanam. I consciousness. Depend on I and forms. Depend on I and forms. Chakkuncha paticca rupecha. Then uppajjati means arises. Chakku vijnanam, I consciousness. Depend on I and forms. There arises I consciousness. Without I consciousness, there is no, or there are no any forms. Without I consciousness, there are no forms. Without ear consciousness, we don't have any ear consciousness or sota vijnana, sounds. And without Gahana Vijnana, no consciousness, we don't have any smells like that. And yes, the coming together of these three, Chakku, Rupa and Chakku Vijnana, Chakku eye, Rupa forms, and Chakku Vijnana eye consciousness, these three coming together is contact or passa, arises passa, contact, eye contact. Chakku sampassa, we call Chakku sampassa, then Sota sampassa, Ghana sampassa, Kaya sampassa, like that way. Sotancha paticca saddancha uppajjati sota vijnana, that way sota vijnana, Ghana vijnana, Kaya vijnana, like that. And together, all together, these three, Chakku, Rupa and Chakku Vijnana, arises passa or contact. And that way the others also arises. And again, according to Paticca Samuppada and some suttas, according to some other suttas, contacts depend on contacts or pachapasya vedana uppajjati. Vedana means feelings. Because of contact, feeling arises. Because of feelings, tanha uppajjati, craving arises. Because of craving, upadana or grasping arises, grasping. Because of grasping, bhava or becoming arises. Then because of bhava, jati, birth arises. Then because of jati or depend on jati, jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa, sambhavanti. Those things. Jara, aging, marana, death, jara, marana, soka, sorrow, parideva, lamentation, grief, all the things arises because of jati. That way, the vijnana, then passa, vedana, upadana goes together, link together because of the vijnana of consciousness, eye consciousness, ear consciousness. Due to those things, we link together with the other things, and we wander in samsara for a long time. And this subject and object, or internal base and external bases, Chakku, Sota, Ghana, Jiva, explained in some suttas. And according to, again, Sanyukta Nikaya, in the chapter called Khandha Sanyukta, Aggregates chapter, this Sanya and Vijnana, Sanya compared to Marichi. Marichi means mirage. Sanya compared to mirage, and Vijnana compared to magic show. And this mirage thing, according to that explanation, when a deer sees a mirage at a distance, he thinks it is water. Then what he does, because of his ignorant or delusion, lack of his wisdom, he runs to find the water, but he couldn't find any water. And yes, then Buddha said, just as in the world people say each other, man or woman. When we see something, then we labeled or we notice it's a man or woman and house or like that. That's a sanya. And again, I would like to read one sutta in Sanyutta Nikaya, chapter 22nd, Khandha Sanyutta, the sutta called A Lump of Form. Lump of Form, very beautifully explain these 5 skandhas with similes. This one, 95, Sutta number 95, A Lump of Form. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Ayodhya on the bank of river Ganges. There, the Blessed One addressed the monks or bhikkhus thus: Bhikkhus, suppose that this river Ganges was carrying along a great lump of form. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a lump of form? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of form there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in form? Then number 2, Vedana and the feelings, aggregates. Suppose, bhikkhus, that is, that in the autumn, when it is raining and big rain drops are falling, a water bubble arises and bursts on the surface of the water. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a water bubble? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of feelings there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, so forth. Then number 3, sanya, perceptions. Suppose, bhikkhus, that is, that in the last month of the hot season, at high noon, shimmering mirage appears. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in the mirage? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kinds of perception there is, whether past, future, so forth, is plain. Then number 4 is sankhara, mental formations. Suppose, bhikkhus, that a man needing hardwood, seeking hardwood, wandering in search of hardwood, would take a sharp axe and enter a forest. There he would see the trunk of a large plantain tree, straight, fresh, without a fruit bud core. He would cut it down at the root, cut off the crown, and unroll the coil. As he unrolls the coil, he would not find even soft wood, let alone hardwood. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, so forth. And the vijnana, last one, consciousness. Suppose because that magician or magician's apprentice would display a magic illusion at a crossroads. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, so forth. Seen thus, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experiences revulsion towards form, revulsion towards feeling, revulsion towards perception, revulsion towards volitional formations, revulsion towards consciousness. Experiencing revulsion, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge. It's liberated, he understands, destroys his birth. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the fortunate one, the teacher, further said thus. There are some stanzas. Form is like a lump of foam, feeling like a water bubble, perception is like a mirage, volitions like a plantain trunk, and consciousness like an illusion. And so explain the kinsman of the sun. Whenever one may ponder it and carefully investigate it, it appears but hollow and void when one views it carefully. With reference to this body, the one of broad wisdom has taught that with the abandoning of three things, one see this form discard. When vitality, heat and consciousness depart from this physical body, then it lies there cast away, food for others without volition. Such is this continuum, this illusion, beguiler of fools. It is thought to be a murderer. Here no substance can be found. A bhikkhu with energy aroused should look upon the aggregates thus, whether by day or night, comprehending, ever mindful. He should discard all the fetters and make a refuge for himself. Let him fare as the head ablaze, yearning for the imperishable state. That sutta, lump of a lump of form. Then these two ends, Chakku and Rupa, Sota and Sada, those two ends. These two ends and middle, Sanya and consciousness, Vijnana. Beautifully presented in the Parayana Sutta, again Anguttara Nikaya, Chakka Nipata, in Parayana Sutta like this way. Yo ubbante viditwana majje manta nalipati tang brumi mahapurusoti soda sibbani machaga. That is stanza. Yo ubbante viditwana, he who having understood both ends. Yo means he who. Ubbante means ubo ante, both ends. Viditwana, having understood. Majje, middle, also middle. Manta nalipati, does not get attached to them. To the middle through his wisdom. Tang Brumi Mahapurusoti. Him I call a great, great man. And so the Sibbani Majjaga, the last part of the stanza, it is he who has bypassed or escaped the seamstress or weaver in this world. The special word is seamstress or Sibbani, weaver. Here Majje means Vijnana, and also we can get Sanya, consciousness or perceptions. And Sibbani, seamstress, is a term for craving. Sibbani, weaver or seamstress, called craving, tanha. And function of craving, I think you know, the function is craving, of craving is here simile for process of stitching or weaving. Tanha or craving always weaving or stitching what? Knots. Knots. Or accumulation of knots or stitching knots or weaving knots. The tanha always weaving, stitching some knots. These knots or those knots keep the being in samsara for long, long time. And also here ayatana upada, the vijnana or consciousness again produce some ayatana. Ayatana means basis again. Chakku ayatana, sota ayatana, gana ayatana, ayatana, jiva and kaya ayatana. Those 5 ayatanas or basis also produce this vijnana or consciousness. And vipassana or insight meditation is seen of the arising of sense basis. When we practice insight meditation or vipassana meditation, we have to see the arising of this basis and cessation of this basis, sense basis. And Sona Sutta, again in Anguttara Nikaya, Sona Sutta explain this clearly. It's like this way, the stanza, Tanha kaya dimuttas asam mohancha chetaso tiswa ayatana upadang samma chittang vimucchati. The meaning is, in one who is intent upon the destruction of craving and the non-delusion of the mind, on seeing the arising of sense basis, the mind is well released. If we can see the arising of these ayatanas or basis, then we can release from samsara, we can attain vimukti. By the not seeing of arising of the sense basis, that one remains bound, that the mind remains bound to samsara. If we can't see or if we can't realize the arising of the basis and cessation of the basis, our mind always bound to samsara, remains in samsara. And in other words, as long as one grasps I and forms as the two ends, I consciousness comes in. This chakku vijnana or I consciousness it's like a water. We think it's water, but not water, it's mirage. Therefore, the deer keeps on running after the mirage, thinking that is a real water. And our mind attracting, a habit of hanging on to its object. Our mind always attached to some objects or hanging on some objects or its objects. Even when the panchayatana, there's eye, ear, nose, body, all those things, 5 ayatanas or panchayatana, 5 external senses do not grasp attached to their objects, respective objects. Mind would grasp the thought as its object. Always mind attached to the objects. Because of the this bhava tanha. Bhava tanha means craving for existence. That's why our mind always attached to some objects. The eye does not attach to rupa, but our mind attached to the rupa because of tanha, bhava tanha, craving for existence. And simile, Buddha gave a simile, just as a man falling down a cliff or precipice would hang on even to the frail straw for fear of the fall. When someone falling down from a cliff or from the mountain, even he try to hang on some frail straw or plant or some creeper because of fear of the fall. And why is that? Because it explained in the suttas, pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata. Tanha pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata. Tanha, because of the craving. We grasp or we hang something. We don't like to fall down. This is a pono bhavika tanha. Pono bhavika means regenerating or regenerate craving. Regenerate or regenerate craving. Pono bhavika. Pona means puna. Puna means again and again. Bhava means generate. That craving regenerate again and again. That's why explaining even in the first sermon of the Buddha, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Tanha explained Pono Bhavika Nandiraga Sahagata, like that way. And again, explained in Sutta Nipata, the sutta called Dvaitanupassana Sutta. Dvaitanupassana Sutta. Yecha rupupaga satta yecha arupattaino nirodhang appajananta agantaro punabhavang. The meaning, those beings who approach realms of form or rupaloka, and those that are in formless realms or arupaloka or brahmaloka, not understanding well the fact of cessation, that's why come again and again to existence. Even the deities in the Devaloka or Rupaloka and the beings in Arupaloka or Brahmaloka, they never will understand this arising and cessation. That's why they come again to this world or existence. And the process of cessation always going on. But we can't see or we don't want to see. Always arising and cessation going on and on, internal or external, within us or outside. Then but the process of cessation going on all the time, but due to this pono bhavika tanha. This regenerating craving. Because of that, very hard to see this process of cessation for us. And why? Because of vipallasa. Why is that? Then Buddha explained again, because of we have 4 kinds of vipallasa. Vipallasa, the English translation is perversions. Perversions. There are 4 kinds of perversions, vipallasa. We think wrong way, we see wrong way, we understand wrong way, not the real way. That's why perversions. The first one is sanya vipallasa, perversions of perception. And number 2 is chitta vipallasa, perception of consciousness. And number 3 is ditthi vipallasa, perversions. Perversion of views. Perversion. The number 1, perversions of perception. Number 2, perversions of consciousness. Chitta vipallasa. Number 3, ditthi vipallasa, perversions of wrong view or views. Then the last one, atta vipallasa, perversions of self. Those 4. Then sanya vipallasa and chitta vipallasa goes together. When we have sanya vipallasa and chitta vipallasa, perversions of perceptions and perversions of consciousness. Then we think this way: anicce nicca sanya, impermanent as permanent. Impermanent things we always think those are permanent. And ditthi vipallasa, if we have ditthi vipallasa or perversions of views, we think like this way: dukkhe sukha sanya, dukkhe sukha sanya, painful things as pleasant things. And the last one, atta sanya. If we have atta sanya, we always know. Another one, if we have ditthi sanya, we think asubhe subha sanya. Impure is pure, impure as pure. And the last one, atta sanya, if we have that one, not self is we think as self. Anatte, atta sanya, these 4. Impermanent as permanent, painful as pleasantful things, impure is pure, and not self as self. Those are the vipallasa, perversions. Because of these 4, we can't see, we can't understand arising and cessation. And Buddha explained another way. Viññānaṁ pariññeyaṁ paññaṁ bhāve tabbā, in one sutta. Viññānaṁ pariññeyaṁ, consciousness is to be comprehended. And also paññaṁ bhāve tabbāṁ, wisdom is to be developed. Yes, consciousness is to be comprehended and wisdom is to be developed. And the last one, yang kinchi samudaya dhammang sabbantang nirodha dhammang. We have to realize these 2 things. Yang kinchi samudaya dhammang, one understand that whatever is of a nature to arise. I repeat it, one understands that whatever is of a nature to arise, sabbantan nirodha dhammang, is also of a nature to cease. Then one can release from this samsara and also can escape from weaver of the knots. I have some translation of the Suttas. I would like to explain one of them. This one, the leash, also from Sanyukta Nikaya Khandavagga. I would like to read the to end of this discussion. You can ask some questions. At Savatthi, because this sansara is without discoverable beginning. Because this sansara is without discoverable beginning. A first point is not discerned of beings roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time, because when the great ocean dried up and evaporates and no longer exists, but still, I say, there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes to a time, because when Sineru is a great mountain, the king of mountains, burns up and perishes and no longer exists, but still I say there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time, because when the great earth burns up and perishes and no longer exists, but still I say there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Suppose, because a dog tied up on a leash was bound to a strong post or pillar, it would just keep on running and revolving around that same post or pillar. So too, the uninstructed worldling regards form as self, feelings as self, perception as self, volitional formations as self, consciousness as self. He just keeps running and revolving around form, around feeling, around perception, around volitional formations, around consciousness. As he keeps on running and revolving around them, he is not freed from form, not freed from feeling, not freed from perception, not freed from volitional formations, not freed from consciousness. He is not freed from birth, aging, and death, not freed from sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair, not freed from suffering, I say. But the instructed noble disciples do not regard form as self, not feeling as self, not perception as self, no volitional formations as self, no consciousness as self. He no longer keeps running and revolving around form, around feelings, so forth. As he no longer keeps running and revolving around them, he is freed from form, freed from feelings, so forth. And freed from consciousness, he is freed from birth, aging, and death, freed from sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair, freed from suffering. Then suppose, because a dog tied up on a leash was bound to a strong post or pillar, if it walks close to that post or pillar. If it stands close to that post or pillar. If it sits down close to that post or pillar. If it lies down close to that post or pillar. So too, because the unstructured worldling regards form thus: this is mine, this I am, this is myself. He regards feelings, perception, volitional formations, consciousness that way. Therefore, because one should often reflect upon one's own mind thus. For a long time, this mind has been defiled by lust, hatred and delusion. Through the defilement of the mind, beings are defiled. With the cleansing of the mind, beings are purified. Because have you seen the picture of called Farin On? Yes, Venerable Sir. Even that picture called Farin On has been designed in its diversity by the mind. Yet the mind is even more diverse than that picture called Farin On. Therefore, because one should often reflect upon one's own mind. Thus, for a long time, this mind has been defiled by lust, hatred and delusion. Through the defilements of the mind, beings are defiled. With the cleansing of the mind, beings are purified. That's why Buddha instructs to practice insight meditation. When we practice insight meditation, we can see the reality of these Pancakkhandha or 5 aggregates. Then we can destroy those 5 skandhas and we can release from this samsara. Okay? Do you have any questions? No? Okay. And then we can terminate. Okay. I will give you the blessings. Sabbitiyo vivachantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te. We have offered offerings to the Buddha and you observe 5 precepts. And we practice loving kindness meditation and also breathing meditation, mindfulness meditation, and also listen to some Dhamma, Dhamma discussions. So, the teaching of the Buddha. Doing these things, we accrue more merits. We can share these merits with deities and also our departed relatives. And may they receive these merits. May they enjoy these merits. And due to these merits, may no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May you always meet with success, peace and happiness, especially good health, and warded off your evil things and promote your well-being and success, or success and well-being. Finally, may we all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana one day. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.